Neil here at the Geauga Firearms Academy. Thanks for watching. Today we're going to talk about a very important subject, and that is what is the best weapon for home defense and why. So here we go. We'll debunk the myth of overpenetration and which weapon and why. And so let's just dive into this. Alright, so here we have a 9mm hollow point. Okay, and then we have a 5.56 or 223. Okay. Notice that's a hollow point. We'll talk about that if you're new to shooting. That's the only defensive caliber you're really going to, or type of round you're going to carry. The round nose is not for self-defense. But this is obviously your handgun and your rifle cartridge. Believe it or not, this guy is what we're going to be talking about for home defense. So as I said in other previous videos, when it comes to effectiveness of stopping a threat, there is no comparison between a rifle caliber and a handgun caliber. Okay. So, for home defense, here it is. This is what I use for home defense, an AR15 rifle, okay? And one of the reasons I use an AR15 rifle, other than being more effective at stopping a threat, is that I have children. So, let's explain that. So, as I said earlier about debunking the myth, this guy right here is a 40 grain AR15 round of 5.56, okay? This is a 124 grain 9mm. Grain meaning the size of the actual weight of the projectile. So a 9mm handgun round is significantly larger than this guy. Now, this guy is moving at a significantly higher rate than a handgun caliber. And because it's lighter, and because of the actual shape of the actual bullet, the projectile that comes out, and the speed at which it's moving, when it does in fact hit hard objects like walls and boards and nails and whatever it hits, this is far more likely to fragment and to tumble and to get off target and not penetrate as many walls. For further reference, I'd love to show it to you, but YouTube would not be happy. Guns and Ammo did a great segment on this on their actual TV show, where they actually fired everything from a 22 to a 12 gauge slug through 5 walls built to spec, 4 interior walls and 1 exterior wall. And the 40 grain AR-15 didn't go through all the walls, where everything except 2 other rounds did, okay? And that's for another video. But the main thing is, because I have kids and in general, I obviously want those rounds to not go through my house entirely. There's no guarantees, of course, but the likelihood of the AR-15 round in 40 grain stopping before it exits is much greater than most all calibers, whether we're talking about handguns or what have you. So that's reason number 1 for this. Okay, so now let's talk about the firearm itself. Why the AR? Okay, so first and foremost, a rifle is significantly easier to shoot than a pistol. Bottom line, any rifle versus any pistol. One of those reasons is all the points of contact that I have. Now, if this was a pistol, obviously I'd have 2 hands, right? 2 points of contact. Here, I've got my my shooting hand here. I've got my reactive hand here. I've got my shoulder, and I've got a cheek level. So I literally have 4 points of contact versus 2. So I have twice as many. I also have a nice long sight radius, so that it's much easier to be accurate. Although we're talking about home defense, obviously it's not going to be over great distances, but it does help. Second thing, managing the recoil with this gun in the setup that it is, a AR-15 with a direct impingement system, it has very little recoil to do anyway. So controlling this firearm as I'm shooting and keeping it on target or transitioning to targets is much easier with a rifle than a handgun. Okay, and I'll make a video specifically on how I set my AR up and gadgets and equipment and all that later on. This is specifically for home defense. But the first thing I want to show you here, as you notice, is I have a single point sling on here, okay? Why is this important? Well, because it makes me look really cool. Now, this is very important for self-defense and home defense, because if I have this weapon strapped to my body, how are you going to take it from me? Okay? So this aids greatly in weapons retention. Obviously, too, if need be, it does give me the ability to use my hands for other things if I have to. But most importantly, for home defense, this keeps this gun to me, and it keeps someone from taking it from me. Even if there's a struggle, I'd rather be in a struggle where it's at least strapped to me than struggling over a loose gun that could be turned around at any time. I'm not going to be able to get shot with this until it's completely detached from my body. Okay, so this is a huge advantage. Always have a sling for your home defense rifle. Alright, so the next thing, capacity, right? So if you don't know, these are standard 30 round mags. So if you're in a free state, you can get 30 rounds, even here we can get 40 rounds or whatever the case may be. So having 30 opportunities here is a great advantage, especially over a pistol. So to wrap this all up, having that rifle, it's a much more shootable weapon, much easier to be accurate, it's much more effective, has higher capacity, and of course being strapped to us also aids in our retention of that firearm or that weapon in worst case possible scenarios. So when you add that all together, that to me is the best scenario for having a defensive weapon for home. Alrighty guys, I hope you learned something from that video. If you like what you saw, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. I always appreciate that. Comment below, but just don't fight. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. You'll be notified every time a new video comes out. Until next time, remember, it's always better to be judged by 12 than carried by 6.